everyone, welcome back. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about how the unfaithful can experience post-traumatic stress syndrome after an affair ends. Welcome, my name is Stacey, and I'm a certified life coach who specializes in infidelity recovery. I help the unfaithful end their affair and recover from infidelity and learn how to get their life back. So after my affair, I went through a huge change. God really helped me to understand what my reason for having an affair was, and it just helped me transform my life. So now I want to help you transform your life as well. So if you would like to work one-on-one with me, I will leave all the information in the description box below. There's a link to my calendar. You can click that link and sign up, and we can get you on the right path of setting you free from this bondage that infidelity causes us to be in. We think it's good, but, and it might be for a little while, but it's definitely something we get stuck in and we have a hard time breaking free from. So I would love to help you break free from your affair. Now, let's get on to the video. So, post-traumatic stress syndrome. Can we go through it? Now, we know that the betrayed spouse does actually go through PTSD. It can happen. Infidelity is a traumatic event. But what we want to know is, can we as an unfaithful spouse experience it? And I believe the answer is yes. So we're going to break this down. Let's start with looking at what exactly PTSD is. And it is a disorder that occurs when people experience a traumatic event. So it's a normal response when you experience a traumatic event, but sometimes it gets carried away, I like to say. So it may look a little bit different for the unfaithful, when I go through the symptoms, I will list some ways that you can tell that you may be having post-traumatic stress disorder, or you may be having some symptoms of it. So just be on the lookout for those symptoms. It can look a little bit differently. Now, when we think about trauma, we have to think about trauma as an emotional upset. Trauma is not always, somebody getting killed or, something horrible and tragic. Trauma can actually be from an emotional upset. So one thing I want to look at is, how does infidelity cause PTSD? Well, when we experience an emotional event, parts of our brain will trigger the alarm system, okay? And this system was designed to keep us safe when a threat was experienced. So you may not be threatened physically, but an attack on your overall emotional well-being and security may be what you're feeling. And the reason, when the affair ends. So the reason I say that is because, let me explain the attack on your emotional well-being as an unfaithful spouse, or how you may perceive this as an attack, or your brain, that type of thing. So when you start an affair, you are coming from, your marriage may or may not be in a bad place. You might just be bored, or your husband might be great and you don't know what's missing, that type of a thing. But there's some kind of inner turmoil that has caused you to seek out infidelity. So when you get into the affair, you start to feel a sense of emotional security. Now we're not talking about security like this is a secure relationship, because there's a hidden code there that says, hey, this relationship could end at any time. No, this is a sense of, hey, I have a place to go for safety. I have someone taking care of my emotional needs. I feel safe here. I feel content with this person, that type of thing. So you build your world. You created this world to escape fear and instability that's going on in your marriage, or that you are thinking it, you're projecting it into your marriage, and the turmoil is really going on inside of you, and not understanding how to handle conflict that comes up in a marriage. So a lot of times this can be caused by an unhealthy attachment style, which was triggered by a difficult season in your marriage. So like I said, sometimes for me, when when my husband and I were going through a bad time, I can't sit here and say he was a terrible person, because he was not a terrible person. There was just things he didn't know how to do, or he got caught up in his own stuff. He had his own problems, and that triggered me to respond in an unhealthy way. So I went into this affair and I created this pleasant environment for myself. It was just my escape world, like I call it. It's the great escape. We're together, and I'm happy with you, and you're giving me my needs, and all of this stuff. So it was just great. I created that world. Well, of course, when it comes to an end, I don't want this world to end. I don't want to go back to feeling discontentment, or I don't want to be not stable. I don't want to go back to those things. So it creates a sense of fear, and it triggers that, hey, my emotional support system is being attacked. So, I go into this PTSD situation, and that's how I believe infidelity can cause this for us. It can cause this PTSD because it upsets our stability that we have, or the stability we think we have. So let me just say that. Okay, so we think infidelity is stable. We think we have someone that is going to always provide for our emotional needs, but infidelity is like building your house on the sand. Anything that comes, if you buy it, it's going to wash away. It's just not strong enough to withhold a normal relation. It's not strong enough to withhold a lasting marriage. Let me say that. Oh, I can't talk today. Y'all, please forgive me. It's been a long weekend. Okay. So let's get on with some symptoms that are related that we as an unfaithful can experience. Okay, intrusive thoughts related to the affair, and this is caused by triggers, triggers of songs, TV, food, memes. My affair partner and I used to send like smiley faces back and forth to each other. So the little symbol smiley face was a trigger. The bing from Messenger was a trigger. Anything could be a trigger, and you could almost have them all the time. So the trigger comes, and then you have this flood of intrusive thoughts, and it just, washes over you like, oh my God, it just takes you back. It almost like it sweeps you back into that moment when all these things were happening, and you can remember and feel exactly what you did at that time. So number 2, you can have flashbacks and nightmares. Nightmares are terrible when an affair ends in that withdrawal stage, because you just have all these moments of waking up out of a dream with your affair partner, and it's in a panic, and it's just terrible. I had terrible nightmares. I call them nightmares, but actually it was just, it was really dreams of being with him or losing him or something like that. And I would wake up in a panic and realize that he wasn't with me. And so we experience fear, sadness, and anger, and you will go back and forth between, being afraid of what the future is going to hold, being afraid of never seeing them again, and having sadness, and then you're going to go to being angry. I'm angry at them. I'm mad at them for doing this to me. Why did he leave me? Why didn't he fight for me? Why didn't he stay? All of this anger. You'll get mad at your spouse. You're the reason, you put me through this. Some of us will blame God. Why in the world did you let this come into my life? Why did you let me be tested? Why? All of this kinds of stuff. We will experience all these negative emotions, and it could be all in one day. It just depends. Number 4, we become detached from others. So if you're a betrayed spouse and you're watching this, or if you're an unfaithful, if your spouse seems preoccupied, this could be why. They're detached from you or estranged. So I like to say estranged, because estranged means they lost former closeness and affection, for you, that feeling. But don't worry, it can return. And that's why I always say don't make quick decisions. So I'm looking at my notes if you're wondering. I wrote some notes down because this is important for you to understand. This is one of the things that really throws us off after we end the affair is I don't feel anything for my spouse. I totally feel disconnected. And I've had betrayed spouses tell me my spouse seems preoccupied. They don't want to connect with me, and this is why they could be suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome, where their system is just in a heightened state. They're in that fight, flight, or freeze mode. They have all this going on, and all of that, just causes for us to, I don't know what to do with these feelings, so I'm just going to withdraw. Number 5, avoidance of places and conversations about the affair. Now, this is important because I have a lot of betrayed spouses ask me, why won't my spouse talk to me about the affair? I have questions. They won't give me details. They give me one words. They get angry with me. They say, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I just want to move on. When your spouse tells you this, or when you find yourself saying this, this is because, possibility that you're having this post-traumatic stress syndrome. And in infidelity world, it's also called post-infidelity stress disorder. It just means that you're trying to protect yourself. So you're trying to avoid any triggers, and subconsciously you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to go back there. All you want to do is move on, because going back there makes you feel like you're not safe. It's scary. It brings too much pain. It's too much pain at that moment for you to address their concerns. So, sometimes with that, when that situation has presented itself, when you have a spouse that is really struggling to talk to you about it, talk to you about what happened during the affair, sometimes it's best to just leave it alone for a little bit, let them heal, let their mind heal, let their emotions come down a bit, and then, readdress those questions later, because they may just not be in a place to answer you. And I always tell the, unfaithful, if this is where you are and you're struggling so much, because just a conversation could, cause a trigger and bring you back down a rabbit hole of depression or something. So you want to make sure that you're recovering. You want to make sure you're taking the right steps to get over your affair partner. So at some point you can address your spouse's questions, and that way you guys can heal and grow together and build that trust up again. So I really wanted to touch base on that, because I see that a lot, and I really believe that the traumatic event of ending the affair, especially if you and your affair partner were extremely emotionally attached to each other, that event is going to cause some havoc on your emotional state. So number 6, you can have change in your mood, and you can have distorted negative beliefs about yourself, like, I am bad, I'm blaming my spouse for everything. Your thoughts on the consequences of the affair can completely be distorted, where you don't really see how this is about to destroy your life. You can't comprehend the destruction that this could do to your family. That is definitely something that happens, and it's just because, from having the trauma, it changes the way our cognitive function operates, and it just puts us more in a distorted state. That's another reason why you don't want to make decisions right away. You want to give yourself time to heal, because you literally are not thinking correctly. You're not yourself. Number 7, unstable emotions. We kind of covered that earlier. Your emotions are going to be all over the place. That's completely normal. Number 8, going between feeling numb and reacting out in anger. So, you might feel numb one day and not really feel anything, and then the next day you have a new fresh wave of anger that just might wash over you. Again, this is normal as well. Number 9, inability to stop scanning for any new data that might cause more distress. Example, checking their Facebook page. Sometimes we feel like we cannot stop checking their Facebook page, even though we know it's going to cause us more stress, but we keep looking, and this could be a cause of PTSD. Number 10, feeling powerless and broken. A lot of times we feel powerless. We feel like we have no control over our emotions, because they've been running the show for so long. Anyways, we haven't learned how to take our authority. Number 11, needing to regain self-worth by assigning blame. Sometimes it's really hard for us to realize that we did make this decision to have the affair, so we'd rather just blame shift and put it on our spouse, and that can be a sign of PTSD as well. Confusion. Now, this is a big one. I don't understand what happened. this question can go over and over in our head, meaning I don't understand why they left me, or I don't understand why the affair ended. I don't understand why this person was good in the beginning of the affair and now they're not. What changed, what happened, I just don't understand. And we just keep obsessing over that thought. So those are the 12 symptoms that I believe reflect that we could be having post-traumatic stress disorder going on after an affair ends. Now, I just want to say a disclaimer here. I'm not a professional doctor. I don't know for sure. These are some things that I've went through. These are some things my clients go through. This is when I was doing some research on this video, I was putting together, pieces of post-traumatic stress disorder, and I was seeing a lot of things that myself and my clients have gone through. If you feel like I always say, if you feel like your emotions are so low, or you're so low and you just can't come out of this, and this is going on longer than the 3-month danger zone or the 6-month recovery zone, if it's going past that time, you might want to seek professional help. I did. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing to be ashamed about. Mine went on forever because I kept myself stuck in that. But I did eventually have to seek professional help, and I did have to go on medication for a bit just to help me regain my thoughts, like regain control over my thoughts and my emotions, because everything was just running wild, and I really needed help because I was having just panic attack after panic attack, and I couldn't sleep. So I definitely needed the help, and I was very grateful that God had led me to go to the doctor, because it really helped me start to heal after that. So if you have any questions, please leave them down below. I hope you found this video helpful. Please go through the symptoms and evaluate yourself, see what's going on. Give yourself some grace, because if you find yourself in any of these symptoms, this could actually be why your body and your brain could just be in that PTSD mode, and it's causing you to react in all of these ways. But there is hope. You can come out of this. You can heal from this. We don't have to stay here. So I always say that we don't have to stay in this place of pain and suffering forever. We can totally get out of it and come out completely healed. So until next time, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.